Sure, an extremely goofy movie may not be the sequel we craved, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse. It could have turned out like Goofy's trial. Yo, I'd fucking do it again. Murder, the demons told me to. Yo. Well, I reviewed the first Goofy movie, might as well review the sequel. An extremely goofy movie, not that there's anything extreme about this movie remotely, is the 2000 straight to a VHS slash DVD sequel to the 1995 underrated Disney classic, A Goofy Movie. So an extremely goofy movie tells the story after the events of the first Goofy movie, where Max and Pete's son, PJ, are going off to university, which of course Goofy is obsessed about, as he will deeply miss his son. But Goofy fucks up his job at the factory and is fired on the spot, and Goofy will need to go to college to get a degree if he wants to get any employment. As so, Goofy joins Max in college, and much to Max's frustration, and puts Bradley Uppercrust III, the school's high school bully and leader of the Gammas, challenges Max to the X Games. And to make matters worse, Goofy joins the Gammas temporarily, while but at the same time, Goofy does find a love of his own in the form of Sylvia Marvel, the librarian. Now, while everybody loves the first Goofy movie, yeah, an extremely goofy movie does not get the same acclaim, and rightly so. While, don't get me wrong, this is by no means a terrible movie or Disney's worst sequel, but it's one of the most frustratingly disappointing. And if this sequel wasn't going to continue the themes of the first Goofy movie, it then we didn't need it at the end of the day, despite it feeling unnecessary and like a nothing generic college movie, because the script reeks of genericness, believe me. It's, I guess, a harmless watch, but the passion and care that went into the first Goofy movie is severely lacking in an extremely goofy movie, and Kevin Lima did not return to direct this sequel, and instead Daniel McCarthy directed an extremely goofy movie, and his direction is clearly subpar. Like the team behind this movie just shoved this out, just like they did with the majority of the straight to VHS sequels in the 90s and 2000s. But the people in this movie that clearly did care are the cast. I mean, voice actors Bill Farmer and Jim Cummings, who voiced Goofy and Pete, especially, well, gave it their all. And even Bebe Newworth as Sylvia Marple, she does just as superb a job as the rest of the cast. And yeah, do. I guess there's one kind of funny gag, bro, why do we wear gloves all the time? Wow, about time somebody pointed that out. But one funny gag does not equal comedy gold by any means, but Goofy suffering from empty nest syndrome, seeing his son pack up and leave for college. That is the heart of this movie, and when Goofy walks into Max's empty room, like his his baby boy has grown up, that is the film's most emotionally poignant moments. Yeah, you Goofy is still likable as ever in this film. He continues to be one of Disney's greatest characters. How he's perfectly comfortable just being himself and not giving a fucking shit what the world thinks of him. Whereas Max, of course, does care how people judge him and wants to and cares well more about popularity than truly being himself. So here's where an extremely goofy so here's what an extremely goofy movie gets wrong and why you could title it extremely generic movie. Yeah, Max is an unlikable dick in this movie. What the hell happened? You sympathized with him in the first Goofy movie. He only wanted to get the girl Roxanne and enjoy Powerline's concerts, but here he treats his father like shit and tells his father to get a life and get out of his in one moment. He acts like an arrogant and stuck up brats throughout. I mean, sure, Bradley Uppercrust the third is the school's arrogant bully, but Max, you ain't much better. You both Goofy and Max were in the wrong and in the right at the same time in their father-son conflict in the first film, but here it's far more one-sided. Goofy is clearly in the right in this film. But my biggest flaw with an extremely goofy movie, there's no Roxanne in this sequel at all. She isn't even mentioned once. Fuck you, movie, for removing Roxanne like that. So, you did Roxanne dirty. Well, thanks for getting our hopes up that her and Max's romance would lead to something in the sequel, only to give us no payoff at all. I don't blame the fans for being pissed off by Roxanne's absence here, and instead of Roxanne, PJ and Max's other school friend get far more screen time, and they are so much more irritating. They work so much better in minor roles in the first film. They were not meant to be main characters. Even seeing them flirt with that cool girl who hangs out with them, I'm like, wow, this is kind of insulting because it felt like the movie was trying to replace a Roxanne. Though the one other positive I have for this movie is Goofy's uh, love story with the librarian Sylvia Marple, and to Sylvia's credits, she is the strongest new character, and I do like that we get to see Goofy have a love story that this time, as the first movie was Max's love story. And yes, Sylvia is dedicated to her job, but she will also, like Goofy, let loose and go wild and loves to party. So the movie's villains suck. Yes, Bradley Uppercrust the Furs. He is ev- every single boring high school university bully 101. His introduction and confrontation with Max goes on forever. He just does not shut up. And Tank is also, the uh, boring muscle of the bullies who and the fact that they cheat during the X Games. Way to pull that out of the cliche handbook by having the villains cheat during the games to sabotage and jeopardize our protagonists winning. This is literally the original Monsters University. Monsters University executed this premise a great deal better. At least Team Omega Raw didn't technically cheat to ruin Uzma Kappa's chances of winning the Scare Games. Well, other than them putting them in the newspaper cute Macappa, but that technically wasn't in the games. That was during a pause during the games. So Crazy Pete doesn't do shit in this movie. We only see him with Goofy in their backyards with having, well, parent to parent talks, but that's all the purpose that he serves. And the X Games themselves are extremely predictable, and Goofy at one point joining the Gammas really doesn't make any sense and feels like a forced and contrived reason for the writers to make Max get mad at his father and yell at his father just so they can have that forced fallout. In fact, this sequel rehashes its predecessor's conflict all over again. Max and Goofy were supposed to have patched up their fallouts in the first movie, but now they are. But now you're going. But now Max is embarrassed by his father again. Why? This totally makes the conflict and ending of the first film redundant, and the soundtrack is not half as memorable as the soundtrack from the first Goofy movie. There's nobody else but you. There's no Powerline song here. I mean, I this whereas the first Goofy movie was very much in the 90s, this one is very much a 2000s vibes. But it doesn't exactly embrace the culture of the 2000s half as well as it should have. Overall, an extremely goofy movie is clearly not a patch on its predecessor. The animation is a downgrade. The story, the soundtrack, the villains and the conflict and the jokes are a severe downgrade. It may have its redeeming qualities, but the first Goofy movie is a Disney classic I can see again and again. An extremely goofy movie is not. I give an extremely goofy movie 2 stars out of 5. Meh movie. Oh yes, let this be a lesson to all sequels. Don't rehash or recycle the plots of the original. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on Extremely Goofy Movie? I know all of you are going to favour the first Goofy movie over this one. And please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you all next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.